Hi again. I'm Dr. Michelle May, the founder of Am I Hungry? Mindful Eating Programs and Training, and the author of the Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat book series. In our last video, I told you a little bit about my story. I'd struggled with yo-yo dieting for over 25 years, and I met a lot of patients in my medical practice who struggled with the same kinds of issues. It's unbelievable how many people have tried the same thing over and over and over again and blame themselves when it doesn't work. There's nothing wrong with you. You've become an expert at something that doesn't work. So many of you shared your comments and your questions on my blog and on my Facebook page, and I'm so excited to read about what you're learning and noticing. It's amazing, isn't it? How often we use food for reasons other than hunger. And isn't it interesting that it's really not about the food at all? Last time I told you about the mindful eating cycle, and I shared the instinctive eating cycle on my blog. So now I want to talk a little bit about the overeating cycle, because for many of us, we're in this pattern of using food for emotional reasons or out of habit or because of environmental cues. And of course, why we're eating will determine what we feel like eating. The hard part is figuring out what to do about that instead. So I promised you that this time I would share a little script that really helps. But first, let me give you an example from my own life. Back in the day when I was really struggling with food, I found that I had these cravings about mid-afternoon. You get those cravings? A lot of us do. Usually for chocolate or snack foods or whatever happens to be in the break room, right? Now, sometimes I was hungry, and I usually took fruit or maybe nuts to work with me. And when I was hungry, fruit, an apple or a pear, or maybe a handful of almonds did the trick. But it seemed like there were these other days when no matter what I ate or how much I ate, I kept wanting more. But eventually I realized that those days when I was really struggling, it wasn't about the food, and anything that I ate really wasn't going to satisfy me. We have a saying here at Am I Hungry? When a craving doesn't come from hunger, eating will never satisfy it. So now I want to give you that script I promised you. So pause the video and grab a piece of paper and a pencil and write this down. When blank, I feel blank, I need blank, I will. When I feel I need, I will. All right, so now you have your script. Let's go back to the comments that you wrote on my blog or my Facebook page, or the things that you've been thinking about since the last video. And if you haven't seen that video, please go back and watch it now. It'll be really helpful for you to kind of frame this up. Now we're going to fill in the blanks. When, describe the situation or the trigger that causes you to feel like eating. If we go back to the example I was using a moment ago, when I'm really busy at work and feel stressed out and don't have time for a break. Fill in the blank. What is the when you feel like eating? When you're not hungry, of course. I feel. Now name the emotion or feeling that you're experiencing at that time. Now I know that can be really hard, and we'll have to deal with this a little bit more in depth in a future session. But for now, just see if you can identify what's going on. Now, the easy emotion to fill in the blank with is stressed. But the truth is that stress is kind of one of those high-level emotions, and there's a whole lot of things that fall underneath it. The deeper you can go into what's really causing the stress, the more helpful this will be. Now, the next, and this is the critical piece, this is the piece that a lot of us miss initially when we start doing this kind of emotions work. I need. Your feelings are actually indicating to you what your need might be. So for example, when you're feeling stressed out, you need to feel calm, in control, organized. There's some kind of a need that emotion that you're experiencing is actually trying to tell you. You see, this is the important thing. Your emotions are actually information. It's your body's way of telling you how you're interpreting what's happening at that moment. When you push those emotions down with food, you're missing the opportunity to understand what you really need. This is huge because when you don't meet your needs, those needs will keep cropping back up and triggering that desire to eat. So When, describe the situation. I feel, describe the emotion or the feeling that you get. I need. What could that emotion be telling you that you actually need? And then once you understand what that need is, what is one small step that you can take to meet that need? What's one little thing that you can do to feel better? So again, going back to my example of a busy afternoon, it might be closing my office door for just a few minutes and taking a couple of deep, mindful breaths. It might be writing down everything that I need to do and prioritizing them. It might mean asking for help. Whatever it is, one small step that you can do right now. So go back to your script, see what the situation is that you're focused on, see if you can understand what the feeling was and what the need might be, and then write down one specific action step. Now I know this sounds easy, and actually it does get easier with practice. But of course, it's much easier to reach for food. And this is the trap that so many of us get caught in, is that it's easier to just put food in our mouth than to really figure out what our underlying need is. But it's no wonder that we keep struggling with these issues, because diets and other issues about focusing on food are really just dealing with the symptom. They're not dealing with the cause. If you want to resolve this issue and your challenges, your struggles with food for once and for all, then we have to get to the root cause. And that's what I'm all about. All right, in my next video, I want to tell you about one of the hidden causes of emotional eating. This is a big issue for a lot of us. It certainly was a big issue for me. But in the meantime, I want you to take that script and see if you can work through one of your challenges. Now, I know there might be lots of them, so maybe you start with the easiest one first and come back to the blog or to my Facebook page and share your script. I'll be looking at these posts and these comments, and I'll try to help wherever I can to help you figure out what might be going on. All right, talk to you again next time.